Movies can do a lot. They can make you laugh or cry, and sometimes they can even leave you with your jaw on the floor because of the unforgettable performances by the actors and their dialogue. For today's video, we've rounded up some of the most badass moments in movies. So which ones are they? From Pulp Fiction to Rambo, here are 10 of the most badass movie moments ever. Let's get into it, and warning, there may be spoilers ahead. Number 10, Iron Man. One of the biggest, done-to-death cliches in superhero movies is how a hero's real identity must be protected at all costs, and having their identity discovered would be the worst thing that could ever happen to them. But the very last moments of Iron Man completely ignored that trope, as Tony Stark proudly exposes himself, saying, "I am Iron Man." Some fans feel that this scene was one of the coolest ever in a movie. One noted that they feel this was the line that helped kick off the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. The line worked in every way, as it's perfectly on brand with the character. If you've seen the movie, you definitely noticed that Stark is a pretty big egoist. Number 9, Good Will Hunting. Many fans of this classic think that the time Will Hunting asked, "How do you like them apples?" is one of the best mic drop scenes in all of cinema history. Though the line actually has origins in the First World War, it's most famous for its use in the 1997 drama. During one scene in the movie, Will asks a preppy student if he likes apples, and then flashes him a napkin with the phone number written on it and asks the iconic question. The power of that one line can be seen in the fact that even people who haven't seen the movie know what the line means, and it's a part of everyday language nowadays too. But the way Will says it, it is such a cool moment, as he not only goes home with the woman's number, but he managed to do what his enemy failed to. However, the scene has since been attacked, with many pointing out that the preppy student could just have easily said no when asked by Will if he likes apples, and Will would have looked like an idiot. Even though the movie won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, this scene doesn't hold up quite as amazingly as the rest of the movie. Number 8, There Will Be Blood. Many fans believe that Daniel Plainview saying the legendary two words, "I'm finished," in There Will Be Blood is definitely up there with the most badass movie moments ever. The whole film centers around an oil tycoon at odds with a family because he wants to drill for oil on their land. And after several business deals that fall through, Daniel lives up to the film's title, turning to bloodshed to get what he wants. "I'm finished" is a pretty appropriate final line of the movie, and there's so much heaviness connected to those two words that Daniel Plainview drops after just having murdered Paul Sunday with a bowling pin. One of the main themes of the movie is greed and Daniel going to any length to get what he wants, and it makes for one of the best final lines in movie history. Number 7, Glengarry Glen Ross. In this film, we don't get a whole lot of action, but the insults the characters throw at each other are their real weapons. Fans have put Blake's speech in the 1992 movie up there with the most jaw-dropping moments in history. The speech goes on for 8 whole minutes, while Blake performs the "Always Be Closing" monologue, which is the most unmotivating motivational speech in history. Within those 8 minutes, Blake calls out all of his employees, tells them they're horrible salespeople, and he threatens their jobs unless they fix things up and start selling more timeshares. After ripping up his employees, he storms off from the Mobile office, leaving them fighting for leads. Number 6, The Usual Suspects. Roger Verbal Kint turning out to be the real Kaiser Soze in The Usual Suspects has got to be hands down one of the most badass scenes ever according to many fans. It's all thanks to the editing and the way the scene was filmed that the reveal is so powerful. As audience slowly come to the conclusion, at the same time as Detective David Cugin, never has a tracking shot been used at a more perfect place than when the camera focuses on Verbal's limp slowly transforming into an ordinary walk. And then we're shown the flashback to Verbal telling Kajan that he's gone. Right before it cuts to black is the cherry on top. Whereas those badass scenes in movies are generally witty one-liners, the moment at the end of The Usual Suspects has everything to do with the camera work and editing. Number 5, Some Like It Hot. One of the biggest problems fans and critics have with the newly released Blonde, the Netflix exclusive biopic about Marilyn Monroe, is that it's extremely exploitative. Another problem with it is that it doesn't show how great of a performer Marilyn really was. In Some Like It Hot, we see her in one of her greatest roles, as she plays the lead singer of a traveling all-female band, but people often overlook the final line in the movie. Okay, so the movie centers around 2 men, Joe and Jerry, who disguise themselves as women to hide from the mafia. An older gentleman, Osgood Fielding III, ends up falling for Jerry, When Jerry finally removes his wig and reveals to Osgood that he's really a man, Osgood has a reply which no one saw coming. He isn't shaken up at all and just says that nobody's perfect. It isn't so much a badass moment, but it is one that no one saw coming and is arguably the perfect way to end the film. Number 4. Pulp Fiction. Without a shadow of a doubt, Reservoir Dogs was an excellent directorial debut, but this movie was writer-director Quentin Tarantino's actual breakthrough. Its success is partially thanks to the actors delivering Tarantino's expertly written dialogue. Many cinema fans are convinced that Samuel L. Jackson's speech from the opening of this movie is one of the most badass movie moments ever. The fans we're talking about were referring to the monologue in which Jules, Jackson's character, recites a fictional verse from the Bible, and boy does he give a powerful delivery that put the fear of God in just about anybody. Tarantino is amazing at writing one-liners, and his movies have been riddled with funny, profanity-filled insults. So it's pretty ironic that one of his most memorable dialogues is a fictional Bible verse. Number 3. Aliens. Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley has got to be one of the greatest female badasses in cinema. She was the only survivor of her whole crew in Alien, and we get to watch her character grow into a machine gun-wielding xenomorph killer. Many people believe that the second part has the most badass moment, which according to them is the iconic one-liner Ridley throws out while wearing a big mechanical xenomorph-killing suit. She then says the iconic line, "Get away from her, you bee," before killing the xenomorph queen with an exosuit cargo loader, which is one of the most badass sci-fi battles ever. It was enough to make the fans wish that Alien Awakening hadn't been cancelled, as the 5th Alien movie, which never happened, would have seen the highly anticipated return of Ripley, but an eventual legacy sequel with Weaver's return is going to happen. Number 2. First Blood. In this movie, Rambo goes from a quiet loner into a one-man army, escaping prison and going into the woods. Foolishly, the sheriff does his best to capture Rambo, but Rambo is a Green Beret, meaning he's pretty much totally unstoppable. Even if he's only armed with a knife and some sharp sticks, these deputies don't stand a chance. With lightning flashing overhead, Rambo moves like a panther, jumping from trees, lurking in the shadows, and incapacitating the scared cops one by one. Rambo terrorizes them all, putting down the law in one of cinema's most terrifying monologues. "I could have killed them all," Rambo mutters. He threatened the man by saying he'd give him a war he would never believe. He also advised the sheriff to let the whole thing go and then vanished back into the woods. For sure, Sheriff Teasel should have taken the advice. Instead, he continued pursuit, but as the movie goes on, John Rambo shows them why they shouldn't have messed with him in the first place. Number 1. Dirty Harry. Now our list wouldn't be complete without at least one Clint Eastwood moment. The grimace, the growl, the insane calm. There's no denying that the man is a total badass. He always has been, always will be, and there's no arguing with that. Nothing can erase Clint's legacy of being one of the meanest and baddest guys to ever grace our screens. In one of his most iconic movies ever, Sudden Impact, he delivers a line that is up there with the greatest ever in cinema. "Go ahead, make my day." It's still as badass today as it was the day the movie came out. Plus, him dropping this line 4 movies into the franchise proves that everyone's favorite dirty cop had a lot more life left in him. That's all for now. Can you think of any other badass movie moments we missed? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for similar content. Thanks for watching.